Ronna Romney McDaniel.
Your uncle ran for president, so did your grandpa.
My dad had run for attorney general, and I thought, I've got to go get into party politics.
You know what?
You don't have to scream at me.
Sometimes I look at us and I think,
Don't dump me while I'm in the dumpster.
Later.
What the hell is that?
It's a baby we found in the trash.
Well, put it back. It doesn't belong to you.
We're not going to put it back.
Well, give it to the cops. Get it out of here. It's bad for business.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. Sometimes it's exhausting to be right all the time. You have to sit down, make videos, say we were right, and this is one of those videos. Here you go. We were right about Ronna McRomney. We call her Ronna McRomney because she's a traitor to our party, just like the entire Romney family. And Ronna McRomney has proven live on TV seconds ago with her new employer. I don't think that's going to last very long because she was just banned from the network. NBC, MSNBC. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronna McRomney just admitted she's not a Republican. This is the RNC chair. She was the RNC chair like a day ago. And now she's admitting on TV that she was never a Republican and she was faking it the entire time. Now, I remember somebody calling from the wilderness saying, hey, Ronna's a rhino. She's not real. She doesn't believe anything that she's saying. She's only holding this position for power and to enrich herself. And now she is straight up proven it, ladies and gentlemen. Ronna McRomney went on Meet the Press with her new employer. Apparently she's getting paid like $300,000 to do what exactly on NBC? Like let's say all things equal. The Republican Party hates her. We just fired her from her job. She just confirmed that, by the way. We fired her from her job. She just confirmed she's a fake Republican. She's like, the right doesn't like her. You're not going to get any bona fides from the right by hiring Ronna McRomney. Okay, nobody's going to say, wow, they're very fair and balanced by hiring Ronna McRomney. The left, of course, hates her, and we'll get into that in just a second. You please nobody. You appease nobody. Either hire somebody that's actually, either hire Tucker Carlson, somebody who speaks on behalf of Candace Owens, hire somebody who speaks on behalf of the actual base of Republicans, or don't. But doing this middle way with Ronna McRomney, this fake Republican, literally admitting she's a fake Republican, is going to just infuriate everyone. And that's exactly what they just did, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's begin. So Ronna McRomney was just asked, did Donald Trump get you fired? And she said, yeah, absolutely. You know what? Sometimes it warms the heart, really, truly. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin. This absolute dumpster fire of an interview. Ronna McRomney saying, yep, Trump got me fired.
Dive right into this and start with your decision to step down as RNC chair. If you can,
not her decision.
Take me behind the scenes a little bit. Were you pushed out of your role?
Well, there's no question that as RNC chair, you have to remain neutral. And we had a primary process. And so we did have debates, right? We had debates and there was tension and a little friction that started during that process. It was well played out in the media. And I knew at that point when I was doing that role and we were going to have debates that when the nominee came forward and it was likely to be President Trump, that they would want to switch. And that's his right as nominee.
And so were you pushed out by him?
He absolutely wanted me to move aside and wanted Michael Whatley and Lara Trump to come in.
Based. Okay. Thank you, Donald Trump. Man, we'll stack it up on the list of things that Trump has been right about and the good things that Donald Trump has done for our party. Okay, so let's continue on to the most blockbuster part of this interview, and then we'll get to the reactions, which are so choice, so delicious. The salty tears. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I have been preaching that everyone hates Ronna Romney for a very long time, and now we have been proven right. There is nobody that is receiving more hatred on planet Earth from both the right and the left right now than Ronna McRomney. It's amazing. It's like the one thing we can all agree upon. Ronna McDaniel suggests she was a fake RNC chair. This is insanity. She says, when you're RNC chair, you kind of have to take one for the team. Now I get to be myself in talking about how she believes that January 6ers deserve to be in prison for the rest of their lives. for fake crimes. This is utterly and totally remarkable. Former RNC chair Ronna McRomney tells Christian Walker that she's actually been a liberal this whole time. Politics is just one big grift for the Romney family, who should have never been allowed to hold any power in the Republican Party ever again. This is so true, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a listen and see what the setup was here. And Ronna McRomney just straight up admitting it. Well, I mean, hot damn. At least at least we know now. Watch.
Let's talk about the election now. Donald Trump says one of his first acts, if he is reelected to a second term, would be, quote, to free those charged and convicted of crimes related to January 6th. Do you support that?
I want to be very clear. The violence that happened on January 6th is unacceptable. It doesn't represent our country. It certainly does not represent my party. We should not be attacking the Capitol. We should not be having violence. I said it that day. I put a statement out that day that this is not acceptable. If you attacked our Capitol and you've been convicted, then that should stay.
So then, but to the question though, do you disagree with Trump saying he's going to free those who've been charged?
I do not think people who committed violent acts on January 6th should be freed.
So you disagree with that? He's been saying that for months. Ronna, why not speak out earlier? Why just speak out about that now?
When you're the
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, get ready. Here we go. Ronna McRomney is a liberal. Ronna McRomney is a liberal in 3, 2, 1.
RNC chair, you kind of take one for the whole team, right? Now I get to be a little bit more myself, right?
Out earlier. Why just speak out
Listen,
about that now?
My God.
When you're the RNC chair, you kind of take one for the whole team, right? Now I get to be a little bit more myself, right?
Now I get to be an effing liberal. Did you just hear her admit it? When you're the RNC chair, you got to take one for the team. Now I get to be myself. F you, we were right. 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 Right. We have been saying this forever. There are people who defended Ronna McRomney. You're wrong. We were right. Proven. Now. Forever. Now I have the clip, right? And this clip will never die. We will have this clip forever, and I will shove it down the throats of anybody who ever defended the RNC or Ronna McRomney. And I had a ton of people coming up. I had a ton of people coming for me, being like, hey, being too mean to Ronna, blah, blah, blah. Like everyone up in my DMs, people up in my mentions. There are people out there. Most of them were like paid to say this kind of stuff. But nonetheless, now we have it on the record. You frauds. Ronna can freely be the swamp thing that we always knew her to be. Wow, how wonderful. Ronna McRomney on NBC. Biden is the legitimate president. He won fair and square. All national committee members that supported and voted for her should resign immediately. Ronna McDaniel disagrees with Trump plan to free January 6th prisoners. Look at this. Good for you, Steve. This is what Steve Bannon's saying. All national committee members that supported and voted for her must resign immediately. We should absolutely force that, ladies and gentlemen. Whew, baby. She's a rhino, former RNC chair Romney. When you're RNC chair, you take one for the whole team, right? Now I get to be a little bit more myself, which is a leftist, elitist, liberal groveling to CNN and MSNBC every time she gets a chance. What a effing fraud. Guys, I mean, it's nice to have this stuff out in the open. Fascinating dynamic here. MSNBC actually considers Ronna right-wing. The right rejects Ronna too. Isn't this amazing, ladies and gentlemen? So now, after that hit, MSNBC, right, which is a subsidiary of NBC that just hired Ronna McRomney, has banned Ronna McRomney from appearing on the channel. Isn't that insane? Left-wing MSNBC bans NBC new hire Ronna McDaniel from appearing on the liberal channel after woke employees and anchors voiced displeasure with ex-RNC joining network. So you're able to piss off everyone here, which is kind of like remarkable and amazing. And the backlash now is official, okay? So the backlash inside of the left is really fun. So left-wing X is having a meltdown. I guarantee you I will not watch another second of NBC if they insist on putting Ronna McRomney on. Well, maybe that'll be good for all of us. NBC knew exactly what they were doing when they hired Ronna McRomney as a paid contributor. No amount of rehabilitation will change their hiring. Her interview this morning is full of lies and gaslighting, as you'd expect. Yes, it was full of lies, just not the ones that you think. Lies saying I was a liberal the whole time I was RNC chairwoman. Okay, I've seen enough. NBC News needs to fire Ronna McDaniel or pay her to deliver coffee. I don't give an F. Get her off your shows. This is what the libs are saying. People on the right are saying that you're upset that somebody was hired from the RNC when David Axelrod, Jen Psaki, Jay Carney, David Plouffe, these are all like Obama and Joe Biden apparatchiks. Jen Psaki was Joe Biden's spokesperson while she was negotiating her deal with NBC. So while she was White House press secretary, she was negotiating the deal with NBC. I was an employee for NBC Universal for 30 years now. I'm urging you to boycott NBC because of that. What did NBC News gain by hiring Ronna McRomney except getting egg on their faces and tarnishing their own reputations? Conservatives still hate them. Congrats. Genius decision. It's so true. Oh, man. How bad was it, by the way? How bad was all this? That Chuck Todd, the guy who used to host Meet the Press, went on and attacked his own network over the hiring of Ronna McRomney. Our bosses owe you an apology, Chuck Todd says. Isn't that incredible? So Chuck Todd goes out and actually explodes on network bosses on air for hiring Ronna McRomney. You know what? Weird that I totally agree with Chuck Todd here, but like, totally. I agree for different reasons, but they should have never hired Ronna McRomney. Okay, this is the dumbest move ever. And people are trolling him saying, well, here's Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki was literally the mouthpiece for Joe Biden and the administration. But, you know, if you didn't have double standards, you'd have no standards at all, right? Here's Chuck Todd, like, having like a simpy meltdown over the hiring of Ronna McRomney for different reasons, but nonetheless, like, good for him, actually. Good for him, because this was a stupid hire.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I think our bosses owe you an apology for putting you in this situation, because I don't know what to believe. She is now a paid contributor by NBC News. So I have no idea whether any answer she gave to you was because she didn't want to mess up her contract. She wants us to believe that she was speaking for the RNC when the RNC was paying for her. So she has credibility issues that she still has to deal with.
Yeah.
Is she speaking for herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her? But once at the RNC, she did say that, hey, I'm speaking for the party. I get that. That's part of the job. So what about here? I will say this. I think your interview did a good job of exposing, I think, many of the contradictions. And look, there's a reason why there's a lot of journalists at NBC News uncomfortable with this, because many of our professional dealings with the RNC over the last 6 years have been met with gaslighting, have been met with character assassination. So it is, that's where you begin here. And so when NBC made the decision to give her NBC News' credibility, you got to ask yourself, what does she bring NBC News? And when we make deals like this, and I've been at this company a long time, you're doing it for access to audience. Sometimes it's access to an individual, and we can have a journalistic ethics debate about that. And I'm willing to have that debate. And if you told me we were hiring her as a technical advisor to the Republican convention, I think that would be certainly defensible. If you told me we're talking to her, but let's see how she does in some interviews and maybe vet her with actual journalists inside the network, see if it's a two-way, what she can bring the network. So I do think, unfortunately, this interview is always going to be looked through the prism of who is she speaking for, right? I think you did everything you could do. You got put into an impossible situation, booking this interview, and then all of a sudden the rugs pull out from under you. You find out she's being paid to show up. It's unfortunate for this program, but I am glad you did the best that you could, and that's why the three of us are on here to try to bolster that editorial independence.
So, ladies and gentlemen, never a great look when the guy who's supposed to be like the mouthpiece for the organization goes on and says, our organization sucks. And the people that we're hiring suck. And everyone's furious here. And everything sucks here. It's not a great look, right? But I agree with Chuck Todd here entirely. I can't believe I just said that. And we've done so many segments on Chuck Todd and what a clown this guy is. But holy smokes, so I agree. Like, she brings the Ronna McRomney hire. It was the stupidest hire And what does it really show? What does it really undergird? What it really undergirds is that Ronna McRomney's chief goal at the RNC was to make herself famous, to clearly not to win anything for the Republican Party, was to ingratiate herself and to sneak information about Republicans to corporate media, to act as a cloak and dagger operative for corporate media. And then as soon as she's done, as soon as she gets kicked out of RNC, does she go work for a Republican organization? Like, isn't that amazing? Did she go work to elect Republicans? Does she go work to like start a nonprofit to like help Republicans do something or whatever? Win elections, fundraise. Did she do anything? No, she went and crawling on her belly to corporate media for a job, because that's what she spent her time doing. She spent her time sucking up to the corporate press to make herself famous. And that's her first move. You can always tell people's first instinct, right? After a situation where you get fired or where something happens, what is your first instinct? That sort of like shows your mettle, right? And her first instinct was, please God, like somebody in the liberal media, give me a job because I am a liberal. So it just tells you everything. It tells you everything you need to know. The other thing that you need to know is that Kristen Welker, in introducing Ronna McRomney, was like apologizing. Her introduction is amazing.
Joined by former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel in her first interview since stepping down as party chair. In full disclosure to our viewers, this interview was scheduled weeks before it was announced that McDaniel would become a paid NBC News contributor. This will be a news interview, and I was not involved in her hiring. This week, we learned just how much Trump's grip on the Republican Party is impacting the GOP's bottom line.
Okay, got it. All right, got it. Yeah, okay. So she's like apologizing. Yeah, sorry about having Ronna McRomney on. I know you all hate me, and I know that Republicans hate me too. Why would anybody like Ronna McRomney? She's drained the party dry. Spent millions on private jets, limos, luxury retreats, and Broadway shows. Broadway shows. Why is the RNC doing Broadway shows? Look at these dollar amounts here. Look at this. Luxury travel, private jets, floral, all these are in the hundreds of thousands or millions. Of course, they add up to be millions, right? Non-clothing retailers, alcohol, spa and cosmetics, vehicle and other mechanical expenses, clothing retailers, home improvement and decor, floral. Why'd you spend $300,000 on floral? Got to tell you, one of my favorite things to ever happen was sniffing out this moment. We had this instinct for a long time. I'm gonna get tennis elbow patting ourselves on the back on this program too much, so I'll stop it after this. Listen, guys, like, we sniffed this out ages ago. In fact, it was an NBC News debate that was held in Miami where Vivek had invited us down to like do debate prep with him. And we went down there and we worked on savaging Ronna from the stage, because why would Ronna McRomney invite NBC News? Like, why would you invite NBC News? NBC News are Russian collusion hoaxers. NBC News are like deep, seething, leftist conspiracy theorists, not grounded. Why would you allow them to interrogate our candidates, right? So let's flip the lights on them, right? Let's show these people who they are. Let's call out Ronna McRomney and let's call out NBC News to their face. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment, and it's now looking back. We were right. Probably one of the proudest moments of my professional career. Ladies and gentlemen, Vivek Ramaswamy, the thing that the speech that ended Ronna's career. Okay, here we go.
Swamy, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Ross.
Sorry. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election. They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
and they're going to rig this election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn to Governor Christie. Why?